Alarm bells are going off for growing religious persecution in the predominantly Hindu nation of India. A new law in the northern state of Uttarakhand even goes as far as penalizing certain forms of, quote, forced religious conversion with life in prison. Well, Stephen Schneck, the commissioner of the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, joins us now. So, Stephen, what can you tell us about this new law?
Well, Raj, as you just described, this law in Uttarakhand is designed to prohibit conversion within the state. It's something that we see across India. Currently, more than half of Indian states have anti-conversion laws, but Uttarakhand's new law, which was passed on, I believe, August 13th or so, it takes things in a whole new direction. Life imprisonment is possible for attempted conversions. So it's very concerning, and even more concerning, if I could add, is the vagueness of this law itself. For example, digital means of attempted conversion is also something that's prohibited by this law. So it's very vague. Very concerned about how it might be employed in India. But as I said, this is a larger problem within India itself.
So to put it in like an American simple language terms, you could basically be in prison for preaching the gospel.
You could definitely be imprisoned for preaching the gospel. If you take the gospel seriously, that our job is as Christians is to, convert the world. This runs right up against the law in Uttarakhand and similar laws across India.
I think for a lot of folks, India has always kind of seemed like this, tolerant-y type place, right? Hinduism, I'm half Indian. Half of my family to this day is Hindu. And, when my family hears about Jesus, they're like, bring him alongside. It's not a threatening thing, at least from my experience, like in Islam, like where there's a hard break, there's all of this, a familial drama with shame and everything. Hinduism, at least from my experience, has been a little bit more, how do I put it this? There hasn't been that kind of backlash from someone in the family finding Jesus. But this seems like there is a march towards religious intolerance in the Hindu community in India. Can you maybe expand upon what's happening, again, with the Hindu community inside India?
Right. So there's a movement that we could call Hindu nationalism that's backed by the BJP party, which is the dominant party in the country under the control currently of the Prime Minister Modi. And the BJP party's been using, I would even say, weaponizing Hinduism for political purposes. And as part of that, there has been an effort on the part of governments across India to to marginalize non-Hindu religions, and so Muslims, Christians, Sikhs, and indigenous religious practices and so forth. These are all running up against the surging Hindu nationalism that's characteristic of Indian politics right now.
So here's the question. What is forced conversions?
Well, I mean, in our mind, a forced conversion would be something, at the end of a barrel of a gun or something like that. But the way that the Indian state governments have been interpreting it, really just any kind of proselytizing, the normal thing that people would do, talking about their religion in public life and saying what a great religion it is in public life, or on social media, that can be interpreted as forced conversion in
Hmm.
India today. And so it's setting a dangerous, dangerous precedent for religious freedom within that country.
So, can you give us maybe an example or two from other parts of India, just so we have a broader context of what's happening in this country with over 1 billion people?
Yeah, as I said, more than half, in fact, 12 of India's 28 states have different kinds of anti-conversion laws. And the state Uttar Pradesh, for example, has a law very similar to what we see in Uttarakhand, where life imprisonment, can be imposed on people convicted of forced conversion. So these are some examples. And if I could kind of go beyond the question about conversion, many of these laws are inspiring or inciting communal violence against Christians and Muslims and Sikhs within the country as well. We remember just a couple of years ago a number of Christian churches being burned. Even two Jewish synagogues were burned in the northeastern part of India as a result of this kind of communal violence. So it's something that we're watching very closely at the Commission.
Well, obviously, we're going to have you back on. Religious
Oh, please,
persecution
yeah,
is a big part of what we cover here on CBN News. But while I have you, and I know you're a very busy man, and thank you for answering all these questions about India.
pleasure.
In general, what would you like the CBN audience to know about the state of religious freedom around the world? Like, what's something that we should keep our eye on?
Right now, we're seeing an uptick of religious persecution around the world. Some of it's associated with rising religious nationalism that I just mentioned, such as the Hindu nationalism in India. In other places, though, we see, the state under in authoritarian regimes trying to crack down on religion because it doesn't want any sources of authority or any appeal to the
Mm.
truth beyond that which the state itself is imposing. Nicaragua, for example, is a good illustration of a place where that's occurring right now. So, I'd encourage all of your listeners to pay really close attention to religious freedom. Religious freedom is the first freedom in our own Constitution. And Article 18 of the United Nations, of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, guarantees religious freedom to people all over the world. And yet, this freedom is very much in danger right now.
Okay, I have to ask you one follow-up just because you said something
Of
about it.
course.
Obviously, this is about India, but you said Nicaragua. Isn't that a Roman Catholic country?
It is predominantly Roman Catholic, although there are large Protestant populations as well. But yeah, the regime of Daniel Ortega and his wife Maria has been cracking down on the Catholic Church. They've driven nuns from the country. They've
Wow.
seized Catholic institutions and Protestant institutions as well. It's an example of what I described: authoritarian governments cracking down on religion because they don't want people to have access to any source of truth or any
Mm.
validation in their lives other than what the state itself provides.
Well, I want to end with this, which is if you're watching this and you're in one of these countries and you feel that religious persecution, as I was getting prepared for this conversation, Stephen, God brought me to Lamentations, not an often quoted book, chapter 3, verse 55 says this: I called on your name, Lord. From the depths of the pit, you heard my plea. Do not close your ears to the cry for my relief. You came near when I called you, and you said, do not fear. Stephen, my brother, thank you so much for coming on. Again, we're going to have to have you back on. But for now, my friend, God bless.
Please, Raj, I'd enjoy it. Thank you very much. I really appreciate this. Thank you.